I want to say these reforms are unstoppable. After Meru conference, the cartels started a scheme to discredit these reforms by trying to create an artificial crisis about the coffee auction and the licensing manenos around it. I want to say that we are fully prepared. When the president and I and the rest of government undertook these reforms, we knew what we are getting into. We knew it is not easy. And we knew they'll fight back viciously. But we are ready and we are prepared. The administration to sort out these coffee manenos is this one. And if this government cannot sort it out, nobody else can. The political goodwill is 100%, and the president has already instructed that the National Treasury is on standby. In case these cartels refuse to buy coffee to create an artificial crisis to stop us from the reforms, the National Treasury will set aside money to buy coffee from the farmers as we push these reforms. So I want to tell these cartels that trick of stopping to buy coffee to create a crisis will not work. We are going to put money for the farmers. And we'll get the coffee and put it in our stores and pay for it. And the farmers continue farming. And we can do that as long as it takes, doesn't matter whether it's a year or 2 years, as we look for proper market. It cannot be this coffee is fetching such high prices and they give farmers zero, nothing. We'll keep the coffee in our stores and the people who like our coffee will come for it at the right price. So, tunauliza all these players, mukuje mukubali mambo ya reforms. We have nothing against you. You have invested heavily in this country. We are willing to go along with you. But you must give farmers what is due to them. You cannot take all the profit. It's immoral. It's inhuman. It's unacceptable. So don't worry. I want to tell the farmers that even if they try to create an artificial crisis, we are ready. So there will be no crisis. Again, you need to look at the issue of the coffee exchange in its present constitution and ownership, so that it is farmer-based and the farmer is represented, so that they can make decisions that will be favorable to the farmer. You have to look at governance issues in the cooperative sector, because this coffee thing is about the small grower, and the cooperatives are part of this whole chain. And why the cost of production is high is that there is mismanagement in cooperative societies, and there's also a lot of corruption, and also most societies have been captured by the millers and the marketers. You must look at the governance issues, and we must get the bull by the horn. It's gonna be messy. The cooperative society officials will be fighting because they have been gaining a lot, and most of them have been compromised by the marketers. So I know they'll put money to incite them against the reforms. But let us think about the farmer. Along the way, when these laws are proposed, we shall also come in to tell the farmer what it is all about, so that when the cooperative officials are trying to resist, the farmer is on our side. And the farmer, well informed, the farmer has no problem. So let us look at that. Let us look at the issue of aggregation. Why we have a problem is when cooperative societies were subdivided into small and economical units. Look at the possibility of aggregating our coffee through legislation. You either view that a society to be licensed to deal with coffee must have a minimum number of tonnage so that we aggregate the societies to make sense. As it is, when the millers came into place and the marketers, they corrupted the whole cooperative movement, such that everybody wanted to head a small society so that they can get induced by the marketers and the millers. And that is why, for those of us who are in politics, we know coffee elections are well funded than the presidential election in a general election. And you wonder, where is this money coming from? These are just was in the village, but they move around with bags of money during coffee elections. And this is money they are given by the marketers and the millers, and then they recover it from the farmers a year later. So we must improve the governance structure. Kindly interrogate the proposed amendments to the Cooperative Act with a view of fixing the governance issues. Have very stringent requirements for you to be a chairman or a member of a cooperative society. Through these reforms, through the regulations, through the amendments to the Cooperative Act and the Coffee Bill, please look for a mechanism on how to restore huge societies so that we can benefit from economies of scale. And this can be done through legislation. Of course, the officials will fight. Again, we must be prepared. On my part and that of the president, we are willing to pay the political price for these reforms. We are willing. Whatever happens is okay. But it cannot be that we become cowardly. We fear to bring reforms for fear of political reprisals by society officials and by other people who have money to corroga the political space. The president and I are willing to pay the political price, whatever it is, but these things must be fixed. So please, our members of the National Assembly and the Senate, the ball is in your court. Do what you have to do. Let the president and I take the political heat. We are prepared and we are equal to the task. We have even taken worse heat previously. Hii ya cartels na society officials is very little compared to the system and the deep state. Ni kitu kidogo. We'll be able to deal with it. But this must be done. We agreed in Meru, farmers were in support, that we reinstate the Coffee Board of Kenya to be able to handle farmers' issues because it is farmers owned. So let us look at that and bring back the Coffee Board of Kenya. And this is informed by the fact that when Coffee Board of Kenya was in existence, farmers were well paid. So we are saying, let us have what is tried and tested. Again, KPCU has milling capacity to mill our coffee, is farmer owned. So again, let's bring back KPCU and strengthen it. As we talk, we have already put money in the budget for 2023-2024 to enhance the capacity of our mills in Dadora, in Sagana, and in Meru. So the reforms have begun in earnest. Even before you get to the legislative framework, KPCU will be up and running. Again, please look at the issue of multiple licensing. People who are doing, they are the buyers, they are the marketers, they are the millers. This one, it was agreed in Meru, it must be separated. And in that view, please consider that we have a joint licensing committee with all the actors so that these people don't play around with us. Let us have a mechanism with Alpha, Coffee Board of Kenya, the Ministry of Agriculture, the Ministry of Cooperative Development, and the counties sitting in a joint meeting to give the licensing so that we don't have people, playing around the institutions, so that all the recommendations are put together and the final licensing is done by all the stakeholders.